Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged the United States political leaders in Washington not to wait for the outcome of America's November presidential election to move forcefully to aid his country against Russia. And now let's head back to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Austria, where he is currently touring the city. Let's go live. So this is the India-Austria business meeting currently on in Vienna. We see Prime Minister Narendra Modi leading the delegation from the Indian side and Chancellor Karl Nehammer leading the Viennese delegation. What we've seen through the day are bilateral engagements between the two sides. There were brief press statements prior to this, and cooperation in various fields was discussed, namely investment, economic engagements, infrastructure development, innovation, renewable energy, hydrogen, water and waste management, artificial intelligence and quantum computing. So right now, India-Austria business meeting currently on in Vienna. What is also expected in the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India is expected to call on the President of Austria, Alexander Van der Bellen. These are visuals coming live from Vienna. This is the India-Austria business meeting. So different agreements are expected to be signed, and we are now joined by our correspondent Arun Sharma on the line. Arun, if you could sum up what have these bilateral engagements centered upon, which areas in particular?
Good afternoon, Tanvi. Well, the focus of this India-Austria, business forum is to engage with the business community and the top CEOs of both the countries, that is India and Austria. And, we have seen that how, Austria on one side is looking forward to explore opportunities in, in a big market like India, where it gets an access to big market. So on the other side, India is looking forward to exploring various sectors like critical technologies and new end technologies that Austria has already an expertise in. Now, India, for its inclusive development, is looking forward to exploring ways. So how can best practices in sectors like solar, in urban mobility, in water and waste management. So these are some of the key areas, that India is looking forward to the expertise and of course the global collaboration. And of course, Austria's expertise in these kind of sectors that includes urban mobility, water and waste management, and of course, various other critical technologies that also includes the AI, that is artificial intelligence and semiconductors. So, how can both countries contribute or collaborate? That is going to be the focus area. Also, India is, aggressively moving ahead in the direction of Make in India as to how can India become a global supply chain or play an important role as far as the global supply chains are concerned in various sectors. That includes the semiconductors, that includes the solar panels, and of course various critical technologies. So in that direction, collaboration with Austria is going to play an important role. So on the other side, Austria is also looking for a big market, because we know this fact that the entire Europe is suffering from the financial instability and the liquidity crunch and the slowdown as well. So in that context, Austria and of course the Europe is primarily looking forward to explore big markets, and India in that direction plays an important role as a big market. So yes, both the the business tycoons and the conglomerates of both India and Austria will interact and of course go ahead for various investment commitments in both the countries. So it's a win-win situation for both India and Austria as far as the business and investments are concerned.
Okay, Arun, in the economic sphere, India's focus was expected to be in areas like investment opportunities, mutually beneficial trade and sustainable development. If you could shed some more light on these areas and what was discussed in these talks.
So absolutely, Tanvi, as I mentioned, and even the Prime Minister, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during his press statement, also highlighted this point that now relation between India and Austria are not going to be limited only to economic aspect, trade and investment. They're going to give a new tone to the strategic point of view as well, because various critical technologies also require the strategic aspect as well. And in that context, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made this big statement. Also, when we talk about the delegation level talks and the press statement after that, Prime Minister Modi has clearly highlighted in his press statement about the terrorism, because we have seen that how entire Europe, in various pockets, we have seen how terrorism activities are increasing. And in that context, both India and Austria have condemned the terrorism in all the forms. And last but not the least, on the Ukraine aspect as well, Tanvi. Now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and, of course, the Austrian Chancellor in their press statement clearly mentioned this point that both the sides have discussed about the Ukraine crisis. And of course, Prime Minister Modi has clearly highlighted once again that the solutions cannot be found in the battlefield. And this is no time for war, of course, as we all know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier also highlighted this point that this is no time for war, and solutions cannot be found on the battlefield, and we have to find options via dialogue and diplomacy. So, these are some of the big takeaways as far as the press statements of Indian Prime Minister is concerned, whereby on one side he highlighted that how India and Austria will be collaborating in sectors like science and tech, AI, and of course various other critical technologies that also apart from that, the urban mobility, the smart mobility, these are some of the main domains, including the water management and the waste management. And apart from that, how can strategic angle can be given as far as India-Austria relation is concerned. And last but not least, on the Ukraine crisis, because that is the dominating point as far as the globe is concerned, because the entire West is closely observing the visit of Indian Prime Minister Modi to Russia, and of course in his second leg to Austria. So yes, on the Ukraine front, Prime Minister Modi again clearly highlighting this point that the battlefields have no solutions as far as various problems are concerned, and dialogue and diplomacy only serve the purpose, and they only gave us the solution. So in that context, the visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, giving new dimensions to the India-Austria relationship. And of course, now today the last event. Or the big event, you can say, that will be of the Indian Diaspora Connect, whereby we have seen that the focus will be on connecting with the Indian diaspora, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be engaging with the community event later in the day today.
Yes, we all look forward to that Indian community event later in the day. Very quickly, I don't know, how do you see the special gesture of the Austrian choir playing the rendition of Vande Mataram there? Yes, we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeting about it. What do you have to say to that?
So I just want to have to say to this, Tanvi, that the Indian culture is getting the global recognition. And when we talk about Austria, the films, the cultural artists of India are very much popular here in Austria. And, Mr. Upadhyay, who led this delegation of playing in front of Indian Prime Minister, he basically told us that, how they have practiced the Indian music. And of course, amongst the Austrian people also, the Indian music, the cultural aspect of India is also famous. So, of course, this gives you goosebumps when these kinds of renditions are played, globally. And the Austrian people from Europe are playing these kind of rendition. And this gives a clear perspective that how India's soft power is increasing on the global platform. Earlier also, we have seen that how people are performing yoga, and we know this fact that it is because of Indian Prime Minister Modi's leadership role at the UN. He proposed this idea of observing the Yoga Day, and today the entire world is observing the Yoga Day. They celebrate this day, and gradually we are witnessing that how India's soft power, India's culture, India's cuisine is getting a global recognition, not only in Europe but all across the world. And we have seen that how approval rating of Indian Prime Minister, that is more than the various European leaders as well. So this also gives a clear message that Prime Minister Modi is also very much popular in Europe as well. People look forward to, because yesterday when Prime Minister Modi and Austrian Chancellor were on the streets, and they took selfies yesterday night. So there were people, youngsters, they were looking forward to.
Yes, okay. Arun Sharma reporting from Vienna.
So
yes, please go on. We can hear you now.
Yes, absolutely. So this shows that how India's, globally recognition of India is increasing going forward.
Yeah, all right, we leave it here. Thank you very much. Arun Sharma reporting for us from Vienna on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit.